PostdocTransformation. 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 Invest in your postdoc transformation. Welcome to the seasonal show for scientists leaping into business. In every sponsored episode, we are happy to recommend employers of choice for you. Make sure to check your readiness to leap out of science with us for free, as linked in the show notes. For your career transition, we offer customized career transition e-courses and memberships also at graduate schools all over the world. Maybe yours too. And if your university isn't yet our customer, enroll in your free email course for career transition made simple, as linked in the show notes. I'm your host, Professor Dr. Eleonore Soei-Winkels, with my team who is rooting for you. And let's build your postdoc transformation with this episode. Dear postdoc transformer, we are now discussing the impact of the European AI Act on your job search, onboarding, performance measurement, and promotion in the future of work, and also, of course, in the realms of HR. So this is relevant for you if you are my bachelor and master student, or if you are a PhD student or scientist leaping into business or building your own business, capitalizing on AI in Europe. Even if you're not in Europe, but you are planning to work in a company that has a value chain or supply chain across Europe, that means it processes data or produces goods or creates services in, from, or for a European country, this will affect you. And here's my point of view. Every future-proof employer in business will capitalize sooner or later, more or less, on artificial intelligence across the value of supply chain to remain competitive. It will boost the efficiency and effectivity in logistics, supply, buying, sales, marketing, service, operations, production, research and development, management, and, of course, specifically human resources, and all hierarchical levels, beginning now with low-level office jobs and graduate-level jobs, and soon putting a rightful question mark on non-valuable experts and toxic leaders. The remaining humans must be able to use, control, and capitalize strategically on AI tools to remain valuable contributors and initiators for new business models. It's the risk and also the responsibility of the remaining humans to avoid becoming a backward-looking break with past experience and skills. The best life insurance for your work and your career is to embrace the chance. This is a chance and also a threat for seasoned and new workers at the same time. In short, I see huge opportunities for those of you who embrace the AI-boosted workplace and to build a new or better business with AI. As past performance targets, KPIs, key performance indicators, may become irrelevant for meeting future challenges, seasoned arrived workers need to unlearn old behavior and to upskill or reskill. New workers can embrace the change, but have to break into the job market despite having a skill set that seemingly does not fit to outdated selection criteria. If you don't work yet in business, as you are still studying or working in research, play around with AI systems within your vicinity. This way, you get used to being monitored and appreciate the efficiency and effectiveness boost provided by AI systems. You get better reflecting and preparing your future of work with AI. From my point of view, and rather realistic as a former IT strategy consultant, this is an unprecedented change at the workplace and it won't go away. And that's why I had to postpone my previously recorded interviews for the PostdocTransformation show in order to make space for 2 episodes on AI. The European Artificial Intelligence Act is the world's first comprehensive legal framework on AI worldwide. As of May 24, the EU AI Act has now been formally adopted by the European Parliament. It is expected to be adopted by the Council this month. It then enters into force 20 days after publication in the EU official journal, with the implementation staggered over the next 2 years. So until 2026, employers will have time to get ready, as they will then be controlled for compliance and fined if they don't. The EU AI Act ensures that AI systems are used safely and ethically, prohibiting certain practices that pose an unacceptable level of risk, and setting out clear requirements and obligations for other AI systems and their providers, their deployers, etc., that have potentially harmful outcomes for the people whose data is processed. These people are the external customers for market research, advertisement, usage data, etc., and they could also be the internal customers like you. If you apply for a job at that company, or if you are working in that company, you are an internal customer and your work performance data is also processed. And that means your performance will be measured and monitored. And if you are promoted based on your performance or laid off because of your performance, well, then that's because you have been less competitive in a human and AI boosted team, and measured by AI, most probably. And once you have determined your readiness to leap and want to transition into business or industries, then you can enroll in your free email course with 10 actionable, bingeable email lessons until you start your job in business. You'll get 10 emails like this. Number 1, how to leap out of science. Number 2, how to build your sustainable LinkedIn profile. Number 3, how to read social media and network. Number 4, how to research your favorite jobs and employers. Number 5, how to do informational interviews to get insights. Number 6, how to create your customized applications with ChatGPT. Number 7, how to prepare your thesis from a business point of view. Number 8, how to apply to your favorite employers. Number 9, how to choose the right job offer. Number 10, how to prepare for your new job. If you are my bachelor or master student in real life, I'll be happy to discuss what an AI system is and what are the 4 roles. For example, number 1, provider, number 2, importer, number 3, distributor, and number 4, deployers, both public and private, in the context of our lecture on analysis and design of work. For all others, I will provide a general understanding. So here's the definition I will read out from the OECD, that is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. An AI system is a machine-based system that, for explicit or implicit objectives, infers from the input it receives how to generate outputs such as predictions, content, recommendations, or decisions that can influence physical or virtual environments. Different AI systems vary in their levels of autonomy and adaptiveness after deployment. Further, the AI Act categorizes AI systems in 4 risk-based categories, which are associated with obligations for the above 4 roles. Number 1, minimal risk. You can use that freely. Number 2, limited risk. Then you have specific transparency obligations. So that means the companies must make it transparent that they are using an AI system of limited risk. Number 3 is a high risk. And by the way, this is where some specialized job profiles will emerge by a Brussels ripple effect. Let's go into the details of number 3, high risk, because that affords the most stringent day-to-day obligations in businesses. So 5 examples here. A, certain non-banned biometric identification systems, which are excluding biometric systems that confirm who a person says it claims to be. B, certain critical infrastructure systems. C, AI systems intended to be used in relation to education and vocational training. So that's essentially our home turf. AI will affect universities and vocational training heavily. D, AI systems intended to be used in relation to access to and enjoyment of essential private and public services. And E, recruitment, selection of individuals to monitor, evaluation performance, and behavior are considered high risk. When we look into unacceptable risks, these systems need to be phased out. Let's go into the detail for unacceptable risk AI systems. A, social credit scoring systems. B, emotion recognition systems using biometric data in the workplace and education institutes. Exceptions will apply though. C, untargeted scraping of facial images for facial recognition. D, behavioral manipulation and circumvention of free will. That does not cover advertising, by the way. E, exploitation of vulnerabilities of persons, for example, age and disability. F, biometric categorization of natural persons to deduce or infer their race. G, political opinions, trade union membership, religious and philosophical beliefs, or sexual orientation. H, certain specific predictive policing applications and real-time remote biometric identification in public by law enforcement. Exceptions may apply. As you can see, almost all of these unacceptable risks already exist and they have to be phased out. And also exceptions will apply. So the AI systems that you know nowadays in your vicinity are just the tip of the iceberg. And it will be very exciting to see in which direction this all will evolve. But essentially, for employers, there will be penalties for non-compliance, and most companies are now already auditing their AI systems landscape and how the Act applies to the AI systems landscape, which obligations they can leverage to provide, and how they govern the data processed by AI systems. There is a huge opportunity for tech consultancies and law firms. There is a huge need for AI transformation. And related job profiles for this AI workforce readiness transformation will emerge. This is a huge hint for my own students. This is where the party is. And in my lecture, I will discuss differing obligations for providers, deployers of high-risk AI systems. From episode 1 and counting, I have proudly hosted all our Postdoc Transformation Show episodes on Podbean. As a former IT strategy consultant, I have high requirements on my tech stack, and Podbean is my perfect fit for a podcast host. If you want to create your own individual podcast or one for, internal upskilling and communications within a company, DM or email me Podbean so I can share my experience and consult you. You can also use my affiliate links for perks launching your own podcast with Podbean. Are you wondering how I do my videos and my podcast in my spare time? Well, Descript is the video and audio editor that I use, and I wish I had since day one of my Postdoc Transformation Show. Descript's AI-powered features make it really easy for me to create branded, long-form and short-form content for my TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, X, Threads, YouTube, LinkedIn game, and whatever it is. Since my first remote interview with international guests from all over the place, I fell in love with their newly acquired Squadcast feature. So all English interviews are transcribed with high accuracy despite the different accents of my guests, mine including. And best of all, I am editing words and not sound waves. They are constantly building new AI-powered features which have helped me to efficiently and effectively promote my business, Postdoc Transformation, and that's so invaluable as a working mom and active professor. So check it out with my affiliate link in the show notes for launching your own podcast, video show, or even B2B for your internal communication. But now back to you as someone whose data is most likely to be processed during recruitment, performance management, and monitoring. Case number 1, recruitment. Just like you can use generative AI like ChatGPT for your job application, and listen also to our episode number 5 on how to use ChatGPT for your job application, Companies can, of course, support each stage of the recruitment process with AI systems. They can, for example, draft job descriptions based on generative AI. And for my own bachelor and master students, I can only stress the importance of real-life work experience in other roles and functions outside of HR, because otherwise you can simply not determine the suitability, the value of the AI-derived job description based on past data. You don't know what is realistic and not if you haven't done the job yourself. AI can also determine how to target job AdWords in social media. So if you're scrolling social media based on the content that you have been looking at, you could also be targeted specific job AdWords. And you could, as a candidate, also interact with a chatbot when you are submitting your application. And in terms of selection, screening, and also shortlisting, AI can support that. And it has the capacity to hugely reduce the time spent sifting CVs. And unfortunately, a career transitioner probably has a nonlinear CV, and the algorithm won't look for that. It will be streamlining and looking for the right candidates based on the algorithm it had been coded with. And so your CV won't be emerging on the shortlist because you're not having the right skill set. Even though that could be individually legally challenged, at the end of the day, you don't want a way into the company by using a lawyer, right? So that is a waste of your time and your energy, and you should find a better job elsewhere. Don't want to be demoralized in the process to find your way into a company on that route. And to be honest, as AI progresses, aptitude and personality game-based assessment will score you, and even your job interviews may now have less human input. I see huge opportunities for UX design and people upskilling based on AI for my own students. I built my postdoc transformation as a digital business, and I chose ActiveCampaign to be the centerpiece of all my services like email course, podcast, newsletter, show notes, website, sales page, merch shop, forms, whatever it is, as needed. As a former IT strategy consultant, I have high requirements on my tech stack, and ActiveCampaign is a must-have recommendation. I use it daily. If you want to create your own digital business with various lead magnets and funnel options, DM or email me ActiveCampaign so I can share my experience and consult you. You can also use my affiliate links for perks launching your own digital business. Now over to number 2, which is performance management. And that is the collection and seemingly objective, analysis of employee data. That means that AI is widely used as a performance management tool. Algorithms can undertake comparisons, detect opportunities for improvement and efficiencies, and generative AI could even generate a performance review. Here are a couple of things that we need to consider. This kind of information has the potential to make management decisions better informed and more objective, but of course, the role of regulation, such as the AI Act in Europe, is to ensure that safeguards are in place to ensure this is done ethically and fairly. And it depends on the training data. It depends on who is coding the algorithm. It really depends on how applicable is that for the people who are working at that place. And once they are performing, then obviously it will be easy to categorize ready to be promoted or should be sanctioned. But the problem here is you can only categorize based on indicators coded beforehand, right? So this is essentially the basis for transactional performance criteria. If that person is doing this, then it's good or bad or even better than someone else or whatever. So we compare between a target and the current state. And that's transactional leadership. But the thing is, in the future of work, we need to be transformational because we don't know how the future will evolve in this direction or others. That's where we have to have transformational leadership. That is, we have to inspire, we have to motivate, we have to foster, we have to consider individually our team members to become better leaders, experts at the workplace. So again, where transformational leadership is required to innovate for the future, outdated and transactional performance criteria are misleading. And the devil really is in the details. So how can the company ensure that the AI system looks for the right future-proof performance indicators? And that's a great opportunity, again, for my bachelor and master students of industrial and occupational psychology. It will be key to understand that key performance indicators, KPIs, can be deficient. So the one who sets up the AI to look for KPIs hasn't thought of including all factors that are needed to determine good goal-directed performance. And to be clear, there will be not just one way of perfect goal-directed performance. Instead, there will be many ways. So how can an AI even look for all the different variations and combinations of KPIs that are unprecedented before because they are so novel? That's novelty detection. How can AI do that? And now, it's time to thank Company ABC, who sponsors this episode of the Postdoc Transformation Show. I would now be reading the company's answers to one of 6 bold questions so that you can choose to apply. For example, number 1, describe your most valuable experts versus leaders in your company. Have they typically earned a doctor title? Number 2, for which of your company roles or units do you encourage somebody with a doctor title to apply? Number 3, how would you describe your organizational culture in which your most valuable experts and leaders thrive in? To nominate an employer of choice so that we can ask our informative bold questions, let us know via the click on the link. If you are a company representative, like in recruiting and employer branding, and now you want your company to be highlighted as an employer of choice for our audience, you can become a sponsor of a dedicated Postdoc Transformation Show episode. Just click on the link in the show notes. And now, back to the Postdoc Transformation episode. And then also KPIs can be contaminated. So we measure something that has nothing to do with the performance. It is sometimes even just the better machine, the hardware, the software, the data, the bandwidth, the RAM, or the disk space on your computer. And sometimes it's the better server for a given region as opposed to the headquarters. Sometimes it's even the internet access differing among the countries. So you can see results and performance are really hard to measure. And just because we have seemingly better measurement means that does not free us to think strategically on what we really want to measure and why we want to react on that. Performance measurement should also be based not on results, but rather on goal-directed behavior. And for creative work, this is really interesting and related to the next point, number 3, monitoring and surveillance. Monitoring and surveillance are perhaps the most high-profile use of AI in the workplace. And that really acknowledges the monitoring technology that has the potential to provide a safer workplace. So, for example, tracking delivery drivers' use of seatbelts and driving speed, and also, you are closing your eyes, so you must be tired, so please stop, and you've been driving for too long now already, you have to have a break, etc. So I'm all for that. But also that could be overly intrusive and erode trust if I'm monitoring keystrokes or work rate. For example, sometimes I'm just thinking and I'm not producing any keystrokes, but what does that mean? My thinking is not worth the work hours? For overt work safety non-compliance, I can see benefits. Of course, I want to save people's life. But how active someone is does not indicate laziness or engagement. And when people think the great idea to achieve the goal often appears not when it's urgently needed, maybe after some unsuccessful attempts. These overt attempts are easily detected, but the moment when your genius or your muse strikes is not easily seen and detected by AI. So how can AI be set up to look out for these hard-to-detect KPIs as well? And to be honest, I can already see non-experienced leaders or leaders non-familiar with the team members who are relying too heavily or unreflectedly on AI categorizations along the lines of under, low, middle, and top performer or something like that, based on the individual baseline and typical performance levels, versus how eager they ramp up the maximum performance for urgent situations. Well, this could also be taken further as an indicator for commitment, which actually will be too short-sighted when the individual life circumstances or long-time worker life cycle are not considered from a human point of view of people caring leaders. And that is maybe a not so bright future, and I don't know how you feel about that. Maybe you also have to rewind and listen back to this episode. Hey postdoc transformer, are you curious to ask professors, principal investigators, visiting scientists, postdocs, PhD students, and candidates some in-depth life and career guiding questions? But it feels cringe, so you end up not asking? Buy our postdoc transformation card game to have more fun and valuable insights in your journal club, lab, and mentoring meetings, lab rotations, during conferences, panels, and breaks at the Mensa. You'll get 10 intriguing mentoring questions per career level. So 10 for PhD students, 10 for postdocs, 10 for professors, 10 for parental scientists, underprivileged and underrepresented and underserved scientists. Check them out with our discount coupon on the Postdoc Transformation shop, linked on postdoctransformation.com. Looking into the future, on the one hand, when there is a war for talents and a shortage of skilled workers, it will be really interesting to see how eager the talents and high performance are to join a workplace where AI rules. But on the other hand, workers who are truly lazy will have it more difficult to work on non-work related, private, or even worse, double-dipping tasks with work-related resources. So receiving a salary for no work or two salaries for the same time. And that really is interesting for the companies who cannot afford to drag people with them that are not contributing anymore or never will. So from my perspective, as a mom, a former IT strategy consultant, and as a professor who is sending graduates out to the companies, I can only say companies without AI will be gone from the marketplace sooner or later. And if you have professional integrity as one of your values, if you are ethically a good worker, you won't be misusing work-related resources for your own purposes. I encourage you to embrace your future of work with AI. Again, listen to the previous episode 45 as linked in the show notes, because AI is here to stay, and the EU AI Act is regulating it as of June 24. Have you found this episode so far helpful for yourself? Well, maybe you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, or wherever you get our show. And also share this episode with your PhD bestie, because that would encourage us to help the underprivileged, underrepresented, and underserved early career scientists leaping into business. This would also ensure that you don't miss a future episode. Also, our subscription and listening numbers are key for finding the right sponsors for our show so that we can help you for free. And now, back to the show. Now let's talk about some homework for you. What can you do to prepare best for your future of work with AI, looking at the EU AI Act? Okay, So you must create your own opportunities. This is the time where people will be sleeping and you have to be awake, especially if you have not much to put forward during the application. You have to network with the right people. But how? Number 1, find them on specialized conference websites. Number 2, connect with them on LinkedIn and ask them whether they have appointments for you at their booths. Number 3, propose and ask them for a thesis topic that they find valuable in their business. Maybe you are lucky. Number 4, if possible, write your bachelor or master thesis in the realms of AI times whatever your study degree is. Number 5, even if you were not able to write your thesis with them or at their company, you should send them an executive summary of your thesis, thanking them for providing valuable ideas in the early ideation stage, and use that opportunity to share that you are open to work in roles valuable for them in their companies. Why? Because you must bypass the AI recruiting system and impress the key people with your creativity. And by the way, in my free email course, Career Transition Made Simple, I have one email focusing on writing an executive summary of your thesis that is employer friendly. So that's not too scientific, right? So you can enroll for free via the link in the show notes. Remember, you are a postdoc transformer. You are highly intelligent, well-educated, a bachelor, master, and maybe you have already your doctor under your belt, or you are a postdoc. You are internationally experienced, fluent in English, a leader and expert in your prior research field. You're resilient, brilliant in adaptation and problem solving. You are eager to bring in the transferable and monetizable skills needed in many companies to embrace the future and to become or remain an innovator in their markets. Additionally, invest a limited time on AI side projects and then share regularly about the progress or your reflections on using AI tools for your project to get the attention of recruiters and decision makers who look for AI-affine talents and high performance open to work for future-proof companies. And again, make key people want you because you learned something to capitalize on AI for achieving your goals. And if this is the very first episode of your Postdoc Transformation show, please also listen to episode 4, The Future of Work for New PhD Holders in Business, and also number 22, Working Out Your Future, because they all dovetail nicely. I really hope that all my fellow professors and lecturers, regardless of their discipline, are now considering the EU AI Act into their own lectures to prepare their own students for the future of work with AI. If not, then please share this episode with your bachelor, master, and PhD besties. They will thank you later. And thank you for listening. Do you want a transcript of our episode? And our episode sponsors answers to all 6 bold questions so that you can choose to apply? Do you want to nominate your potential employer of choice so that we can ask them our bold questions? For all of that, click on our links in our show notes and on our website, www.postdoctransformation.com. Remember to check your readiness to leap out of science and to enroll in our free email course, Career Transition Made Simple. Thanks for your attention. I'm Professor Dr. Eleonore Soei-Winkels, the host of your seasonal Postdoc Transformation show. Hey, you're still here? And you are a future HR or talent management leader? Well, I want to talk to you about a powerful tool that can transform the way organizations communicate internally. How about creating a podcast like this one? In today's fast-paced business world, effective communication is the cornerstone of success. So how can you engage your employees, convey your company's culture, and share knowledge in a dynamic, authentic, and accessible way? Well, to me, the answer lies in podcasting, obviously. So picture this, a podcast tailor-made for your organization where you and your real employees and leaders share success stories and updates in a conversational, engaging format. It's like having your own radio show, but with a corporate twist. Absolutely branded. Now, Why should you consider this as a future HR and talent management professional? Well, podcasts are accessible. So your employees can tune in during their daily commute, while multitasking, off-screen or walking, and it's flexible and it can be easily repurposed in different formats and languages. You know what I'm talking about, right? So it actually humanizes your organization, and podcasts allow you to bring the company's culture to life. You can interview leaders, team members, and highlight what makes your workplace unique and connect with those team members who are far away or on parental leave when they are most receptive for your internal communication. And in the era of AI-generated communications, a podcast with your business leaders in real life is a real human way to reach your employees. You can inform your people every day, everywhere, on demand, and not just during the typical onboarding and promotion seasons. Lastly, it's a platform for continuous learning. Whether it's training materials, leadership insights, or industry trends, podcasts keep your team informed and inspired. So, as you prepare to step into the world of HR, talent management, and leadership, consider the impact you can make by introducing a corporate podcast. It's a game changer for internal communications and aligns perfectly with a modern work environment. So, are you ready to inform with a human touch? Create a podcast with me. I'm Eleonore Soei-Winkels, the host of the PostdocTransformation show. Do you need inspiration? Well, you can get a list of free 30 sample episode titles to be customized for your company. Just enter your email address on our company podcast form on PostdocTransformation.com.
Postdoc Transformation. Postdoc Transformation.